I sit from a place of non-judgment because I still consume traditional alcohol. I just know that like there's a world where we're starting to think about, okay, like how can I drink less, live more?
Welcome to Taking Care of Lady Business, where we get real about what it takes to succeed, whether it's in business, life, or both. I'm talking to game-changing and visionary women who've broken barriers, built empires, and redefined success on their own terms. They'll share their strategies, secrets, and the no BS advice you need to rise to the top. I'm your host, Jennifer Justice, also known as JJ. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome to this episode of Taking Care of Lady Business. I'm Jennifer Justice. Today we have Emily Heintz. She is the founder and CEO of Sèchey. Welcome, Emily.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you hosting me today. It's great to have a chance to talk about Sèchey and what we're doing.
I love it. Well, let's get into it then. Tell me what Sèchey is.
Sèchey, which is French, nod to French, the word for dry. We are an alternative bottle shop and brand. So I built Sèchey around the cultural shift to drinking less alcohol, to finding amazing alternatives that feel like you're part of the party. And so we have a flagship location on King Street in Charleston. We have an assortment at select Target locations around the country, and we launched our own dealcoholized wine portfolio.
And so Sèchey, though, it's not just dry, right? Is there like lower? Explain that more, because I know that in this past like 3 to 4 years, there's definitely been, as you said, nod to more people, being more sober curious and exploring different alcohol or ways to not drink alcohol. And your brand, though, is a little different than that.
It is. I say we don't speak sobriety because that's not for everyone. We speak alcohol flexibility. So I launched Sèchey to increase the awareness, availability, and convenience of alternatives to alcohol. Really, it's about drinking less, living more, and you decide what your personal relationship is. Sèchey technically means dry-ish. So whether you're sober curious, alcohol-free, alcohol full, whatever it is, like there's something for you. We carry actually a wide range of products in our flagship location, and that does include a curated selection of traditional wine and low alcohol wine, which is a new entry into the category, 4% ABV versus a wine that's 14%. Sometimes
Is that
you
how much
see.
wine is typically? 14%?
Typically, yeah, a Barolo or, a Pomerol or Brunello, they're all pretty high in alcohol content.
And these low alcohol are Sèchey branded only.
The low alc are not Sèchey branded. They are our brand partners. So okay. Sèchey, we're building a business around the brand, and we want our customers and guests to trust Sèchey, but it's not just our own product. We do partner with other brands that have sophisticated, amazing products, and we put them on the shelf. So at the core, you would say we're a multi-brand specialty retailer with our own line of products.
Amazing. Yeah, I get it. You are helping other people grow theirs, but like you have your specific brand. So you're like the name you trust, the trusted. Yeah. And sorry, were you going to say something?
The easiest comparison is to beauty. We're thinking about what we're putting in our body, much like what we were putting on our body. So I compare ourselves to Sephora, but for the no-low movement.
Right. And so what made you start this? Did you have a background in alcohol or wine or anything?
Actually, no beverage CPG background, no alcohol. I am a retailer at heart, a merchant at heart. And I was going through my own journey, taking a month off of alcohol, just thinking about my relationship with alcohol. It is a carcinogen. And through that like exploration and that journey, I recognized there wasn't really one place to go to explore curiosity around alternatives, right? It's all alcohol all the time. And so that was what really launched my idea. And then I thought about, 6-letter word. What could I protect? What means
Why 6-letter
dry-ish?
word?
Something in marketing, I learned that if you make up a word, it's easier to become a household name because you can protect it, right? And sachet actually more has morphed through my friend group. I mean, I hope this happens more broadly, but I'm going to sachet tonight could mean, right? I'm taking the night off from booze, or I'm going to start with an alcohol-free champagne, and then I might have like a red wine with my dinner. So we call that zebra striping, sessioning, or sachaying.
Sashaying, love it. Like Googling. Amazing.
Exactly.
Ubering, even though I use a Lyft.
Listen,
Exactly.
I got
It's
to have
kind of
those big
crazy.
goals, right?
Yeah. Look, I mean, yeah, I'm going to sashay. That's amazing. And so, okay, so how, as I say, I interview a lot of women on this podcast and all like entrepreneurs and, all from different kind of backgrounds. But, how did you have that audacity to start your own company without any kind of background in it?
This is actually my second business. I launched my first business in my early 20s, which is over 20 years ago. um, and they say, I don't know who they is, but anyone who started a business typically looks back and says something around along the lines of, if I knew how hard it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it. You just kind of have to believe in what you're doing and are so passionate that you don't care. And that was really for me, I was like, I just know that we're experiencing a cultural shift. And I felt like this, I have to do it.
Right. And at that time, like, what'd you say? It was 21, 22.
So I came up with the name Sèchey in 2020, bought the domain sèchey.com. So we do have an e-commerce business, but I didn't actually launch it until 2021 after my third dry January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's what it takes, right? The planning. It's not like something that happens overnight.
No, I just decided this is what I was going to do. I picked a date to launch the business. It's our, password to everything. But you just have to do it. You have to jump in. And it's been an amazing, crazy ride. I mean, it's not always fun, but like any job, there's some days that are hard, right?
Yeah. That's yeah, pretty much life in general. So yeah, I think we can chalk that up to that. So I mean, what was the first move? Like, how did you know where, what do you even call it? Formulate the non-alcohol, de-alcoholized wine? Like, what was that process?
So the business started in June of 2021 as an e-commerce platform because I didn't know if other people felt the same. I
Mm-hmm.
bought other people's products, put them online, and wanted to see the reaction in the Charleston area. So that's how it started. We were an e-commerce brand first. And then I expanded into brick and mortar based on very positive feedback and on the orders, and knew that the best way to showcase brands and explain what is a de-alcoholized wine, explain what a nootropic was to have a physical space where you could feel, touch, learn, maybe even taste. And then the wine involving into our own branded wine came from our partnership with Target, and from my understanding that most of the guests that walked into our store were looking for wine because it represents celebration,
Mm-hmm.
socialization, connection. It sits on the table. And I didn't think that it mattered what was in it. And it could just be a wine bottle. And as long as it tasted great and you felt like you were celebrating, then that was a win. So I went to the producer of the number one non alcoholic wine line in my store and asked if they would put Sèchey on their wine and make wine for us. And they said yes. So we launched a little over 12 months ago. We haven't had our own product that long.
Yeah, amazing. It's beautiful though. I've seen it and I've tried it and it's great. So what is in it? Like, or you mentioned the word nootropic. What is that exactly?
So our wine is a de-alcoholized wine, which means they make the wine, they spin out the alcohol, they remove the alcohol, and then they balance it for taste, flavor, profile. That's our wine. But a lot of the brands in the adult beverage alternative space put something else in, like a functional ingredient, right? Maybe it's to mimic the feeling alcohol might give you. So common nootropics and adaptogens, like 5-HTP, GABA, valerian root. I mean, you name it. Like whether you're trying to get sleep, you get a buzz, L-theanine, melatonin, like tryptophan, like all of these things you can add to a beverage and get some sort of effect. So when I talk about nootropics and adaptogens, that's what we call functional beverages. Sèchey does not have our own functional beverage yet, but we carry them in our store.
Got it. And you right now you have the one store in, where is it?
In Charleston, South Carolina, which is a very heavy drinking culture. It is also, though, a luxury food and beverage mecca and a destination for tourists. So we
Yeah.
are almost like the Times Square of Charleston. We're right at the corridor where there are a lot of Airbnbs. So we have a local following, but we also have visibility thanks to our flagship location to people who are coming to Charleston. And typically then they'll go back and order from us online or order from the brands that we carry. So it's definitely a 360-degree approach. And I very much believe in physical retail still.
And so you know, when you launched this a few years ago, do you see this category like expanding in leaps and bounds? Like, what have you noticed in the trend in this since launching?
Yeah, it's a new category. So no one really knows, including consumers, much about it or how to service it. So from distribution to retail shelves to bar and restaurant menus, there's still a lot of trial and error. And then for the brands themselves, same. Like we're trying to stay ahead of innovation, making sure that the liquid is great, the branding's great. How do you stand out in a very, what is now crowded space? When I started out, I bought the brands that were available, all of them. Most of them I still carry to this day, but we've had to evolve and curate even further our assortment because it's very confusing. Like, what is an adult beverage? If you're 20, you may never have had a gin and tonic, so you're not looking for an alternative gin and tonic. You're looking for something totally different.
Oh, yeah, right. That's interesting. So people, I mean, under 21 can come into your wine store and buy the de-alcoholized wine.
So technically, you need to be 21 because we are mimicking adult drinking
Got it.
behavior. However, you do not need to be 21 to buy some of the beverages on our shelves, right? So we do carry functional beverages that don't require you to be 21. And that's typically what you'll see with that generation. They want functional. So Ken Euphorics is a really popular one. Hi-Yo, 3 Spirit. They all have ingredients added to them to replicate, but also they don't have to be alcohol.
Interesting. So when you started all of this, right, you were saying like you have no like background in this area. Like, how did you know what to do? Did you bootstrap everything?
I bootstrapped. I came from retail and brand, so I knew the fundamentals, but I did not know the beverage industry, which in some ways is actually probably a good thing because
Yeah.
the way that this category is evolving is very different than traditional alcohol. It's very different than adult soda, right? It's kind of a mix of the two. So bringing fresh eyes to the category and thought leadership on how we get from a great beverage in a can to the end consumer, that there's a lot that goes into it. And we still are educating all along that supply chain.
Well, and who can carry it, right? You go to California, I can buy tequila in the Whole Foods. You know, obviously New York, you can't. If I'm from Washington State, you can only buy hard alcohol in an actual Washington State liquor store.
Yeah. So it's very similar. So the US is interesting, right? Like we have things federally or legal, but state by state are different. And the alcohol industry is one of those. So in New York, you actually cannot sell non-alcoholic products next to alcohol. So if you go to a liquor store, they do not have de-alcoholized wine, right? There are also states like South Carolina that consider dealcoholized wine. So Sèchey, our retail store, actually has a beverage license from the state of South Carolina to sell alcohol, even though we are an alternative beverage shop and we carry 90% alcohol-free products.
Oh, right.
And so, if you think about it that way, it's incredibly complex. So
Yeah.
just like the alcohol industry, and we're, all to most people, we're mimicking adult drinking behavior. So we want to follow those guidelines and the guardrails that have been set up, but also where it's not, you don't need to, don't follow those, right? But early days still.
Early days. Yeah. So are you selling in all 50 states right now?
So we do have an e-commerce business. It is not our primary focus right now for a number of reasons. One, it's expensive to ship beverage.
Yeah. It's heavy. Yeah.
It's heavy. They break.
Right. Packaging.
Also, the digital industry has not caught up. So Meta, Google, like places you would advertise and capture a digital consumer, they classify us as alcohol. So we get kicked off this platform. So it makes shipping to every state challenging. It is a future growth opportunity. I came from e-commerce, so it pains me a little bit to not be able to spend the time and energy. So we see the most, shipping from customers who discover Sèchey in Charleston or find it on, at their local Target, and
Right.
then buy our wine direct from us. Yeah.
So tell me about the partnership with Target. How did that come about? I mean, isn't that everybody's like holy grail? You hear all these stories but it's never that easy.
Well, for Sèchey, my vision was to increase the awareness, availability, and convenience. So what better partner than someone who is in your neighborhood nationally, right? And that partnership is really about like recognizing that consumers and the target guest is asking for alternatives to alcohol. It's part of their overall wellness strategy. And we've been very, very happy to support what is now a movement and not just a trend.
But I mean, in getting that partnership, like how, what are the steps in that? And doesn't it take a lot of upfront money, to be able to service those kind of accounts?
Yeah, listen, Target is very supportive of small business, of female founders.
Mhm.
They're a great place to be on the shelf. It was a long process, and they're a publicly traded company, so I don't share a lot about the details, only that the output is they have a non-alcoholic section in their adult beverage aisle, which is amazing. Long term, I'd love to have a Sèchey store within a store somewhere like a Target. And I think there's room for that because it's hard to know what has alcohol, what doesn't when you're in an adult beverage aisle.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's just, I didn't want the details, but I know it's like some of the whole, like, or like, how do I get into Target? How do I get into Whole Foods when you have like a CPG brand, And so like shedding any light on that for, the listeners is amazing.
Yeah, it's all about shelf space, right? It as a consumer, you want your favorite brands to be available at your local place, favorite retailer, right? So, I mean, we would love more partnerships. So Sèchey's wine and I call them our brand friends, like our brand partners, are next to each other and making a statement about, hey, you don't need to have alcohol in your glass to have fun. And also saying it's okay if you want to pick up 2 bottles of traditional wine and a bottle of sparkling alcohol-free champagne. Like, it doesn't matter. And that's why I started the company. It shouldn't matter what's in your glass. We need to get past this, like, what are you drinking? And I don't want the pendulum to swing in the other direction, right? First, it's like, oh, what are you drinking? Why aren't you drinking alcohol? But I also don't want, well, why are you drinking alcohol? There's you do you.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. And the name is just, I mean, I think it's so great. And it's like, has this like, the French wine, like, equivalent. So it's amazing. So have you raised money and are you just continuing to bootstrap?
We are announcing our first formal fundraise.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. So we have grown to where we are today through bootstrapping, through angel investors who believe in our vision, but we have not raised professional capital, which is, a blessing and a curse. And I am excited about this next, really moment in our growth. And so we are actively looking for the right partners to help us scale.
And so how are you launching that? That means for people who don't understand or thinking about fundraising, what do you mean by launching it?
We are announcing publicly that we are raising $5 million.
Amazing. And when you do that though, and you have proof of concept, you're on the market, you have brand awareness, like why this time right now?
Well, the past 2 years have been two of the toughest fundraising years in decades. The numbers also,
For women or in general?
well, women in general, yes. I am a solo female founder, which
Mhm.
the numbers for that are abysmal,
Mhm.
right? Some brands raise money saying they have a female founder on the leadership team, but they're surrounded by men. So, listen, with a good idea, it shouldn't matter the gender composition of your team. And I didn't go to, an Ivy League school where a lot of times you have a network.
Mhm.
I didn't work in hedge fund. I didn't work in VC. So I didn't come out of any of those channels with relationships that I could ask to write me a check. Instead, I have an incredibly supportive network of people who came from CPG, from retail, from e-commerce, and were confident enough in my vision that they wrote me a check to help me to get to this point. And that was now 4 years later, 2025, we're actually saying, okay, the time is right. We've proven we have the traction, we have a product, we have a store, we have knowledge, we have data, we have a consumer that we've built trust with. So I'm hopeful that all of those things will add up to us finding the right capital partner.
Amazing. Well, congrats and good luck at all at the same time. But I think, you doing it over the way that you have, getting all that under your belt is going to be very positive for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, there's a lot ahead. It's early days in this category, but it's fun to be actually helping others because that's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
introducing alternatives to a known carcinogen, right? And listen,
Well,
I,
when you put it that way, I mean,
but I sit from a place of non-judgment because I still consume traditional alcohol, right? I just
Right.
know that I don't think we're ever going to get to the spot where alcohol is like smoking, because when you smoke, you're impacting someone else's health. When you drink, you're really impacting your own. So, but there's a world where we're starting to think about, okay, how can I drink less, live more? And that is our ethos. That's our tagline. Sèchey means dryish. I think it's the right moment in time. And we're starting to see that shift.
It seems like the category is so much bigger, It's like I see it all the time in alternatives and people drinking the alternatives and seeing them even at bars, and knowing people that are drinking less and less and less. So it's interesting that you say it's like still such a new category. It seems like how long does it take for a new category to become kind of part of the ethos?
Well, the alcohol category is $1 trillion globally. So even if the non-alcoholic category grows the way that it has been, there's still a big delta. And also what we're seeing is it's not gray. It's a gray area, right? It's not black or white. It's not either or. It's really just like adding tools to your shed. Typically the consumer who lives a fully alcohol free life may come to us for an occasion, right? A wedding, a baby shower, but they're not shopping Sèchey regularly, right? The people who come to Sèchey drink alcohol. They're looking for alternatives to substitute in, to extend the party, to, take a Wednesday where they're going to have a wine and it doesn't have alcohol in it. So they don't feel bad the next day.
Right, right, right. Yeah. I'm super impressed in what you've done so far, in particular, given the fact that like your background was not in, like we said, alcohol or CBG. So in all of these learnings, and I love to impart, to the people listening, what are the things that you think made this so successful to date?
Oh, wow. I do a lot of listening to other entrepreneurs who have exited their business and what did they think mattered to them. And it's hard work and luck. It's a little and timing, and you're also only as good as the people around you. And I've been really fortunate to have people by my side. Like I can't do this alone.
Yeah. Do you have a big team?
A very small team.
Yeah.
Yes. We hope to grow the team.
Right.
And part of the reason why we're raising, you know, fresh capital is so that we can grow the team and take advantage of opportunities to expand. But we have to do it profitably. So it's a slower roll than you may have seen in years past. But timing, right? Like this is the moment.
This is the moment for you to like grow and build this and to get it to a new level. So putting like people around you that are knowledgeable, taking in advice, like learning from other people's mistakes, which is something that's very hard to do, right? Things that you've done right. What about things that you wish you had known or had done better?
I have made so many mistakes. I try not to dwell on them because
Yeah.
it's about
Well, that's a
learning.
good learning from that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and also I think trying to enjoy the ride. I mean, yes, we have a destination in mind, but it is a journey. And if I'm not enjoying the journey, it doesn't matter what the destination is. So yes, my BHAG is, $1 billion global organization. Um, but who knows how long that's going to take and also what that ride looks like. So I'm now looking at it as I need to be excited about every day. And yes, there's going to be challenges, but if I don't get too excited about the good things and too upset about the bad things and just kind of stay even keel and know it's all going to be okay, like that's the best way for me to mentally and emotionally have some stability in my life because being on an entrepreneurial journey it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But how do you do that? That's easier said than done, right? It's like how do you do that?
I don't know. I'm trying. I mean, I do a lot of yoga. I used to. I need to get back onto the mat. I incorporating some routines in the morning so I don't just immediately jump on the computer because once you do, you get on the computer, you're done. I'm toast. I'm there for 14 hours. Remembering that it's the people around me, my friends and family, that make me laugh. It's not all about work. I went to New York and we received an award from the lead for our brand and another award for standout brand for our assortment strategy. And like taking a moment, even just a day and being recognized for the progress was really, really helpful for me. And that helps me keep going,
Yeah.
when I take
Celebrate
a
the small
break and
yeah.
celebrate it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let yourself like savor those moments too, because it's a big accomplishment, right? Like what you've done to date is a massive accomplishment. So many people would love to be sitting in a Target and having a partnership with them. So it's no small feat.
Yes. No, looking at it from the outside, always I try to put myself there, right? Like your 22-year-old self would be amazed and excited. So try to have a little bit of that in every day
Yeah.
because like the big accomplishments take a long time. Like someone's going to come to us and say, "Oh, you're an overnight success." No, actually, I've been working in retail since I was
Yeah.
16. This is
Yeah.
my second business.
And you still did the second one.
I know I'm a little crazy, but I told the story a lot that when I was 16, I remember standing in my driveway, my parents' house, telling my dad, I don't want to live in the suburbs. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids, but I do want to have my own business. So,
Amazing.
and that's like where I am. And it's what I've always wanted. So I'm exactly where I wanted to be.
I mean, that's some foreshadowing. That's listening to your instinct right there. What did he say?
He said you'd be surprised what you would do for your children. They were over yesterday, and he has a copy of the front page of the business section for the New York Times that we were in last month. And, I think that he's proud of us.
Yeah.
And I have a dog, and,
Yeah.
that's like unconditional love.
Oh, yeah. I know. I have one too. Always by my side, following me everywhere. I get it.
Yeah, he doesn't care if I'm having a bad day.
Exactly. All right. So you're launching, you're going to raise. Are you looking for VC money? Who are you targeting?
We are looking for partners that believe in our vision and have a background in two camps. One, we're building a business around our brand. Like at the heart of everything, Sèchey is a brand. And two, partners who understand the alcohol industry and distribution. Because those are the two pieces of our business that really make us run, right? Like consumers shop Sèchey because of the brand, but we have to be exceptional at getting product, whether it's ours or our brand partners, into those consumers' hands.
Right. Yeah, that's not, yeah, and a complicated business and area such as alcohol, as we know, with all the different 50 states, even though, yeah, I mean, how complicated with the de-alcoholization and in one state it's this way and you can't, yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but I know a lot, right? Because I've
Yeah.
been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah.
So that you can't replicate. You can't
Right. The
you can't
institutional knowledge.
replicate institutional knowledge, first mover advantage. There's a lot of great brands that have, VC funding or, large checks, but we like to say that investing in Sèchey is investing in the entire race. It's not picking a horse because we kind of own the race.
Amazing. So you're going to go out tomorrow and you're going to raise 5 million. And what is it? And how is this going to be deployed? I want to just give some advertising for you, for the listeners.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll post on LinkedIn, which, as you and I connected on LinkedIn, no, it's a great place to talk about thought leadership and what you're doing in your business and things like that. So we'll announce it there. Essentially, the capital is for expansion of our team, innovation, and our non-alcoholic wine, right? Like that portfolio, and bringing like the best of what's out there to our guests. We will not, unfortunately, be opening more stores right now, maybe in a future round. But this is really to build the foundation for the brand, because what we've done to date has been very bootstrappy, right? Like, let's just get it done. And now we want a formal, okay, like here's our plan, here's our strategy, here's what we're sourcing, all of that.
And the partners to help you get there.
And the partners help us get there. Yeah. And listen, I kudos to the women in the brands and the men who came before I founded Sèchey, because there have been non-alcoholic brands that have entered this market for years.
Martinelli's, anybody?
Right. So many. And like, it's hard to start a beverage business. And I would not be where I am today if these other brands hadn't launched first with or without funding, right? Because I started by putting other people's brands on my shelves. I will always do that. I'm never going to abandon that. It's about the curation and the selection. And yes, I have our own brand, but we could make, corkscrews, apparel, wine glasses. We don't just have to make wine. We've also, the power of the collaboration. We've done multiple collaborations with some of my favorite brands, from Free AF to Kenny Forex, Gia, Shirley, another non-alcoholic wine brand we're very close with, Dessois. So certainly that will continue.
I love that sense of like a collaboration instead of feeling like it's competitive. You know, so many people get in and it's like, and into a business and like somebody else is doing it. It's like, that's good. That means that there's a category. Like there's got to be competition, that keeps you fresh and honest, but it also means the market and to the investors that like people want this.
Yeah, it's not about the idea, it's about the execution. I have to
Yeah.
remind myself that.
Mhm.
And I also have to remind myself that, the universe has its own timing for us. So hearing no a lot and being okay with that It's not a no, it's a not now, or there's something better, right? Like, and I was telling someone the other day, it's almost like dating sometimes. Like you fundraising, you're like you get excited and you like see a future with that potential partner, and then they come back with a no, or you get excited and then you realize something about that capital partner that isn't a good fit for your vision. So, again, just like with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and with dating, you have to just kind of roll with it and know that it only takes one yes for you to find the right person to grow the business with.
Yeah. And sometimes there's you got to kiss a lot of frogs, right?
You got to kiss a lot of frogs, and you can't be upset. You kind of got to enjoy that. And that's really where we're at. So yes, I mean, we have been, well, we haven't publicly announced this. We've been previewing what we're doing. And I'm excited by the potential and the interest in basically writing checks to us to execute it.
Yeah, I love it. But there's always one question that we love to ask everyone, especially women, when they come on here. And that is, what is the worst advice you've ever received?
Ooh, that is a question. I mean, we've all been given terrible advice, right? The worst advice I ever got was to stay in corporate America because it's safe and you have a job and you never have to worry. I clearly didn't do that. I'm reminded of it often by my mother. Why didn't you stay in corporate America? But yeah, I would say for an entrepreneur who thrives on the new and the different, like, a steady corporate job is not my path.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. The last guest that I interviewed said the exact same thing. That's what her parents said too. And it's like, but isn't that like you can still get fired? You know what I mean? And your corporate, like you can still get laid off. Like we've all seen it. So, this old school, like, 1950s, 60s parents that are like, you got to stay in a job,
Yeah. And if you look at leadership at corporate America, it still skews one way.
Exactly.
And while we've spent a lot of time trying to change the composition of leadership in corporate America, the fastest way to enact change is to do it yourself.
Exactly. Build your own system, make it work for you.
Yep.
Which is what you're doing.
Yes.
Leading the forefront. Thank you so much. Emily, if people want to find you, the brand, where can they go?
So Sèchey.com, it's Sechey. I always say, it doesn't matter how you say it, as long as you're saying it.
Yeah. It sounds like sachet, which,
you can say sachet, you can say Sèchey, but whatever you want to say. I also have emilyheintz.com, where I post about thought leadership in the space, highlight some brands. I have a Substack. We try to be social in our outreach.
I think there's a lot of information and community and curation that, is around this whole subject. And I think, people really want to know about it. So thank you for all of that. Thank you to everyone listening today and for showing up on Taking Care of Lady Business. I'm Jennifer Justice. Thanks for tuning in to Taking Care of Lady Business. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with a friend who needs that extra push to own their success. And if you want more strategies, stories, and exclusive content, follow us on TikTok at Taking Care of Lady Business, on Instagram at thejustice.dept and Jennifer Justice L, or visit our website at thejusticedept.com. Taking Care of Lady Business is a production of Lady Business LLC and Salutations Media Co.